What is creative energy?
Fire energy. You got your answer.
And as creative beings, is there anything to be done to either cultivate or mess up the availability?
The fire energy runs the universe. So we won't call it solar energy, but we can call it soul energy. So it's not just solar energy. And we say that fire energy is not like physical fire and such. It's like heart fire awareness. So you need to know of it in a certain way, or have some experience of it to know what it is. Or you can be educated to enable you to perceive what it is. If you don't know it, you might be able to perceive it. It does have certain indications. In the yogas, they call it the rising energy, the rising of the Kundalini energy. But it's not just one energy that rises, it's all pervasive, and then it has the quality of ascending and or descending.
What is the descending quality of that energy?
Gravitational. And the other quality is levitational, rising and descending.
Why does the descending energy show up, or how does it show up?
It's designed that way. You inhale, you exhale. You have energies going down into your body and coming up. So pretty much part of a natural breathing process. So, and for more technical questions on that, you'd have to talk to the designer. Ask it why it is so.
And you've talked about sexual energy as creative energy in the past.
Potential creative energy. It's creative energy without sexual energy. You have, let's say, creative energy between this chakra and this chakra. Doesn't necessarily show up as sexual energy. You have creative energy between this chakra and this chakra. Doesn't show up as sexual energy. You have space energy. It doesn't show up as sexual energy. So you have light energy. It doesn't show up as sexual energy. So a lot of energies don't show up as sexual neuroses. So,
And so there has been in the past a lot of discussion about cultivating a certain energy through sexual abstinence.
That means leaving it alone. That's how you cultivate it. You don't struggle with it. You don't fight with it. You don't force it. Very simple, very maybe radical.
Does that mean leave it alone? Does that mean not engage with it at all?
In some cases, yeah. In some cases, yeah. Because what we're talking about basically is that from the viewpoint of the self, not from the viewpoint of the energy itself. Self is programmed to believe it needs this and it needs that because of, say, undisciplined sexual life, unconscious sexual life. That's where most people start. And they don't see that energy as creative. They just see it as sexual, right? As neurosis, a problem, an issue, a force to be reckoned with or solved or released or put to rest or thrown out, discharged, right? So we're talking about discharge, right? Wasting. It's what sexual energy is generally used for, wasting. And it wastes people. It wastes lives.
And what happens when you leave that alone?
We have to find out. Maybe nothing happens. So if you notice in the spiritual works, they teach sitting. The sitting they teach is not necessarily sexual. They just tell you to sit. So, cook it. Cook the energy. They don't say that. I'm saying that. got to cook the energy. Right? You can fry the desire, and it can disappear. Once you get beyond the sexual form of it, of neuroses, and a certain kind of yin-yang power play, right, or destabilizing the energy, so that you think you need to do something with it in the attempts to stabilize the energy. It's already stable. But you don't live from the understanding or the practice that the energy is stable and it's better stabilized. So this is not against sex. This is for stabilizing the energy. So the sexual energy stabilized then gives birth to a whole other quality of creative energy. So, but you won't know that until you can be still enough to cook it. Yeah. And some people can get to it by a snap. Say, okay, done. I'm here. Others are completely overrun by programs, conditioned programs, undisciplined programs, sexual desire and confusion, which is then true of sex, confusion. Not just fusion, but it's really more confusion. So sex can build identity, or it can erase identity, depending on who's using it in what way.
And you've used the term in the past, let the energy rise up of itself. And as a musician, as a drummer, what does that open up? What does that make available? Why would a musician in particular
you really
do
have to
this?
do it to find out. Can't make any promises about it, because everyone is designed differently, uniquely. So even to frustrate this energy, to sabotage and thwart this energy, well, that's built into you, to fight the energy, to struggle with the energy, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous energy. A very powerful energy. And it controls most people, actually, but we can do better than that. We can not so much control it, we can enable it to stabilize, and thus be used as a form of creative fuel. So, not that it is that, but it can be used to, reach a different place. Right. So let us put it this way: bliss on certain occasions arises by itself. But in the case of those practitioners who are stabilizing that energy, it arises much more generally. So then it's a cultivating bliss practice. No, it could be said that most men cannot handle the sex energy. It's too powerful for them. They are overwhelmed by it. It masters them. They are its slave. So they say things like, gotta have it. Gotta have what? Have what? What? Less mastery? Less enlightenment? More confusion? More self-division? More exhaustion? More unhappiness? More sorrow? Sadness? And negative emptiness? More what? Just had a person over here not more than a few weeks ago and said if they don't masturbate 10 times a day, they don't feel right. So they keep themselves exhausted and empty and wondering why they're always emotionally upset, and crying and disturbed and confused. So it's a quick way to become, say, your worst enemy. Right? That's extreme, of course, but that might be more ordinary than people want to accept, say, for certain men.
And how different is the situation for women? Because a lot of the conversation in the past has been to do with holding seed, holding that, and there's.
Well, it's relative to the orgasm. So we're talking about impulses. We're talking about impulse, observation, and perception. So, and they have comparable impulses, not necessarily the same way that men have. So, but women also have, their own flavor of the problems. Having to do less with just physical urges, more with emotional urges, psychic urges, and mental urges, images. Both have, that's men and women have issues with images, and seeing themselves as sexual machines. Because of their conditioning, not because of any realization or revelation. Because we're really, born in peace. Peace. As humans, we are more prone to peace, given the opportunity. And thus being creative. See, creative from peace, not just creative from stress. See, and what I call the reactive genius syndrome. See, reacting. See, not opening, letting it come up, but reacting. See. Coming.
What does that energy do when things are stable and balanced?
What do you think it does? Right. What would you imagine it does?
Well, whatever it needs to do.
What is it that it might need to do? If we're talking about energy that is fundamentally part of a stabilization process.
Well, the word healing comes to mind.
Well, so you can then admit that it is related theoretically to a healing process. Right? Coincidentally, in the meditation schools, they teach you to calm yourself down, stabilize yourself, stabilize your emotions. Why? What would that have to do with anything? That's like first step. Is that because of wisdom or some bias or some religious belief or something? So it's profound wisdom. So that there's a sense of integration that is created there. Not disintegration created because of sexual neuroses. And we're not going to go as far as saying, well, sex is bad. No one would believe that because it indulges the pleasure circuits. So it's good from the viewpoint of pleasure, perception, sensation, experience. But that could be considered bad, depending on the individual, like sugar, candy, pleasurable, but also with a price. Also negative, because it's so positive, harmful. We're talking about balance, stabilization, as fundamental to spiritual practice for many. And true to the creative process, which is interesting. I'm going back to the yogic understanding. Stabilize, relax, clear, get yourself out of the way, and then you move on to other levels. So there's a fundamental science to what it is that's being spoken about that not only could be applied to musicians and their musical efforts, but it has been historically the basis for yogic practice for thousands of years, probably even more than that. Stop, look, listen, and hear the deep. So maybe it's a preferred practice or a preferred state, right? And maybe it has nothing to do with anybody else whatsoever. People want more excitement, more exhaustion. Others want more clearness, more clarity, so that they can then create accordingly. If they know what to do with that. If they don't know what to do with it, then as you were. Be as you were. Until you're ready to go deeper. And in the process of going deeper, beyond your, let's say, neuroses, second chakra neuroses, or emotional neuroses, right? Confusion, heart confusion here. And if you're using breath and sound, you start to feel an expanse. See? And that's the whole purpose of this. Working with various levels of, let's say, seeding. So, talking about the chakra system as a system of seeds or worlds, say, wheels. Say, a seed that blossoms. Now, who's patient enough to allow a process such as that? It might take time and stabilizing. Some, maybe many. And this is about the seed, and this is about creativity. So, not reactive creativity, but spontaneous unfoldment. So then that would be a purpose for the musician. Wants to know themselves more deeply, yogically speaking, and not be thrown all over the map of relations. Because of chaotic emotions, desires, ambitions, feelings, and so on, that are not focused on realization and potential, higher brain activity, higher spiritual potential, and things of that sort of reality. In the traditions of realization, it's pretty common to hear that what it is you're working for, you already are. You know what I'm saying? Your enlightenment is already here, right? Your Lord is already present, and maybe in some subtle form present. The goal is present. Right? The goal is in the path, and the path is relative to the basis, right? And that basis is realization already. So practitioners going full circle, they have the seed of realization already here, heart seed of realization. And they want to practice to make sure that all the karmas, all the dimensions of that seed are fulfilled or realized. So for some, having that known, that they are already their own potential and fulfillment, that stabilizes them. So then it's maybe as simple as relax and let this reveal itself to you. Don't mess with it. That means with your confusion, put your confusion aside. Lay it down. Right? Lay your self stuff down. Right? Your ambition, your neuroses down. Put it to rest. Right? Put it down as neatly as you would a towel. Just set the towel down. Leave it there. And that would be relative to all forms of identification, which are really misidentifications. Because if you were the original and you are the original, then any identification that you have might be contrary to the original, because you're suffering your identification. Right? You're suffering your identity as being the false identity. Otherwise, you'd be happy, enlightened, and at peace, and everybody else would know it, and they'd come to you for some of that peace. Right? Certainly. We have to put the emotions down. We have to put the impulses down. You have to put the feelings down. Set them down. Confusion down. Self-division down. Anxiety down. All self-neurosis down. Why do we put it down? Because we can put it down. Because we're appealing to original nature. True nature. Heart nature. And you want to be able to put your memories down. All memories, garbage. Put the memory garbage down. There's no reference there, time-wise. See, get away from time. No time now. See, no time, just now. And we are establishing then this stabilization process, conscious stabilization process. See? Accessing original heart nature. True nature, maybe. Call it hue nature here. And then we want to go to the thought processes themselves. Mental programming, culturing, education, all of that is done. Useless. No, stop. All thought. Another layer on the table. Put to rest. So there's no differentiation of anything, no distinctions, no references, zero. For the moment, peace. Mind put to rest. Mind given back to no mind, the original mind. Right? Pure mind. Once that's accomplished, then what is called higher mind can show up. So maybe it's left. Higher mind, wisdom mind. And then we put that down too. And give that up. And nothing mind. And each one of these levels or layers are part of the seeding process. And in the process of eliminating all of these sort of karmas and their levels, their functions, and their prioritized positions in our world, giving all of that up. There's nothing, no one. Very easy breathing then. There's real peace available and healing as a result. It's almost as if you put yourself to sleep. The self is put to sleep. Given back to the true. Going back there. Going in there. To nowness. No form. No formlessness. No being, no non-being. No real, no unreal. Not even here anymore. Just gone. And that's good practice. The seed of gone. Going. Gone. The seed of beyondness. Going, gone, beyond. Now, whether or not certain people can play from this place, that's a big question. And if you'd want to play from this place, say, that's another question. Say, who needs it? Who needs this type of, if it could be called, healing for themselves? We can easily say that this could be useful to many beings. Who knows? So then the question is whether or not people see, or individuals, or practitioners, or musicians, see that there could be something to the processes of self-realization, self-liberation, and self-transcension, in the light of, say, producing another level of music, maybe its own level of music, say, beyond what the self as suffering and neurosis would have done, say, for its own purposes. So we're talking then about a recognition of self-healing first, and then music. Or even better, beginning the whole musical process from this place. Then go to school. Then learn how to play. Right? So then maybe yoga practice should precede musical training, musical development.
That would have eliminated certain things in my case.
So it's important then to understand the function of and purpose of yoga as healing. Coming back to peace, not to drop out, because there's nothing to drop out of. You are the all anyway, so it's not about dropping in or dropping out. And, these attitudes about, well, you become less when you become a yogi, right? You become less viable, right? Because you become some kind of spatial being or something. But we're talking about what does the world need right now? See, from the point of view of the yogis, the world needs more peace, more relaxed, deeper understanding and resonation from heart to heart. See, more peaceful interaction. See, not political, but peaceful interaction. See, going deeper, selfless interaction. See, interaction relative to no identity, see, but intelligence to intelligence. See. Not based upon status of a national level, let's say. So we want the international sort of forum of communing souls, transcending the general politics of neuroses and aggression. And so the question is, would something of that nature be useful? I'm sure this is going on throughout the world in certain ways anyway. Would that be more, let's say, a solution than, let's say, people playing music? People playing music are functioning, many, that is, in the world music sense, say, well, playing music is a way of bringing peace. Well, it would be if it could eliminate your neuroses. But it doesn't eliminate your neuroses. It's a cover. Music is just a cover, it's a mask. It's not eliminating anything, it's indulging your abilities, your self-music, self-expression. Not that that's bad, that's maybe beautiful as art, exchanging art, but it's the neuroses that needs to be looked at. See, not what you're using to cover it up, see, or merely express it. See? and thus transmit it. You're musically transmitting your neurosis to the whole world. Because it's simply that. See, until you're beyond that, and then maybe there's none of that to transmit. Are you suffering from the disease called music? For real, honestly. Are you suffering? You know, the music of other peeps? So, are you, as an audience, settling for having your heart broken because of the emotionality of the music? So, and then falling back on your same old habits and patterns that make you vulnerable to painful relationships. So, and for some, it could be said that pain makes for good music. I question that. Is it good music for who? When it's more of the same thing. So it's musical versions of the same suffering and neurosis and the same problems and the same non-solutions. The music is maybe a make-believe solution to. Because you're made to feel good, as if feeling good is a solution. So, a real solution, no, it's a momentary solution. Feeling good. Sometimes at its best, musical solutions, so-called solutions, offer people some kind of heart resonance, say, for the moment, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the person, say. It doesn't transform them, say. It informs them that somebody else may have a better piece of music than they have. And they got it, and they're doing it. Now you need to find out how you can do it, right? And that means assuming the stresses that belong to that process. Okay, the self-identification or sort of neuroses. And I think in terms of spiritual practice, you need to get beyond all of that to get to whatever's real in you that is waiting to be revealed or expressed beyond self-identification or neuroses, self-imagery. See, that means let your heart speak for itself. Not just in terms of emotion, but what is its wisdom? Every heart has emotion. You know. We're all basically sad and sorrowful beings, right? They look for pleasure, right? We look for good times to balance that out. So, but how many of us are truly there with the heart? Say, beyond self, other, and complication. Okay? Beyond confusion. See? And more, as I have spoken of in the past, being heart is the universe. Universe is the heart. So, simple practice. A simple reminder of our universal inheritance. If we only choose to be that.